Welcome to Arthos, where ancient wisdom meets modern understanding. Episode 11, The Illusion of the End. Imagine watching a grown man cry desperately because he can no longer fit into his favorite childhood shirt. You wouldn't cry with him. You would probably laugh. You would tell him, you didn't disappear just because the shirt got too small. You just grew up. 5,000 years ago, the Supreme Lord looked at a weeping warrior who was terrified of death. And he essentially said the exact same thing. We spend our entire lives terrified of endings. The end of our youth, the end of our careers, the end of our lives. But what if the ultimate truth of the universe is that nothing actually ends? What if everything you are so afraid of losing is just a temporary shirt? Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita. This is episode 11, The Illusion of the End. We are continuing our journey through the second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of analytical knowledge. As we move through this incredible chapter, we are stripping away the illusions of the human mind. Today, the tears finally stop, and the true philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita begins. Let's step into part 1 of today's story, the smile of God. To truly picture this moment, remember where we are. Arjuna has completely surrendered. He is sitting on the chariot floor, weeping, having admitted that he is completely lost and needs a teacher. But notice how Krishna reacts. In Shloka 10, sage Vyas writes, Tam uvacha hrishikesha prahasan iva Bharat, which means, O descendant of Bharat, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Why is Krishna smiling? Because a master is never frightened by the nightmares of his student. When a child wakes up crying from a bad dream, the parent smiles with deep relief, knowing the monster isn't real. Krishna is smiling because he knows that the death Arjuna is so terrified of is nothing but a temporary illusion. And now, the master is ready to wake the student up. Now, let's dive into part 2, the words of the wise. Krishna's very first teaching strikes right at the core of human arrogance. Listen to Shloka 11, Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Ashochan anvashochas tvam pragyavadams cha bhashse, gatasun actasams cha nanu shochanti Panditah. The Supreme Lord says, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. And then, Krishna delivers the ultimate truth of existence in Shloka 12. Na TV evaham jatu nasam na tvam nem jandhipa, na chaivana bhavishyamah sarve vayam ateh param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. This brings us to part 3, the timeline of the soul. These verses are absolutely shattering to the human ego. Arjuna spent the entire first chapter trying to sound incredibly smart. But Krishna immediately cuts through it. He says, Pragyavadams cha bhashse. You are speaking like a learned man, but you are acting like a fool. Why? Because a truly wise person, a Panditah, does not cry over the physical body. To explain this, Krishna uses a brilliantly simple logic in Shloka 13. Dehino smin yatha dehe kaumaram yovnam zra, tatha dehentara praptir dhiras tatrana muhyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes, in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Look at the precise Sanskrit here. Krishna separates Dehino, the owner of the body, from Dehei, the body itself. He reminds Arjuna, you have already died multiple times in this very life. The infant body you were born with is completely gone. The teenage body you had is dead and gone. Your body is constantly changing from Kaumaram, childhood, to Yovnam, youth, to Zra, old age. Yet, the you watching those changes remains exactly the same. Therefore, the final change of the body at death, Dehentara Praptir, is just one more wardrobe change for the eternal soul. Finally, we arrive at part 4, the mirror of change. In our modern lives, we suffer from intense anxiety because we over-identify with our shirts. We tie our entire identity to our physical beauty, our job titles, our bank accounts, and our current phase of life. When we start aging, or when a chapter of our life ends, we grieve exactly like Arjuna, feeling like our very existence is being destroyed. But the Gita asks us to become dhiras, the sober, undisturbed observer. We must realize that the truest part of who we are cannot be fired, cannot age, and absolutely cannot die. But this raises a massive, burning question. If the soul is eternal and cannot be harmed, then why does life hurt so much? Why do we feel the very real pain of heartbreak, disease, and betrayal? In the next episode, Krishna answers this exact question, giving Arjuna a psychological formula for tolerating the brutal ups and downs of the physical world. See you in episode 12.